Hello, everyone. Welcome to My Life by Reverie, the podcast where we delve into the art, science, and the soul of architecture and design. I'm your host, Nafisat Khan, an architecture enthusiast and student, here to guide you through the stories and ideas that shape our world. In today's episode, we are exploring a book that has become a cornerstone for aspiring architects, 101 Things I Learned in Architecture School by Matthew Frederick. This concise and profound guide distills the essence of architecture into practical lessons, offering wisdom that resonates far beyond the classroom. Whether you're a student navigating design, critics, or someone curious about how architects think and create, this episode will inspire and inform. Let's uncover some of the most impactful lessons from this iconic book and see how they can shape the way we design and live. So, in this book, there's one specific quote or thing that's written, and that's an architect knows something about everything, an engineer knows everything about one thing. So, this thing implies that an architect is kind of like a journalist. He needs to know about everything that revolves about his project. It can be a building, it can be a pavilion, anything you can think of. But if you think of the people the architects interact with, they are mostly specialists. An architect needs to work with a civil engineer who knows structure in depth and knows all the load distribution of the columns and the beams and everything related to structure. But an architect needs to know some of the structural elements and understanding to communicate with a civil engineer and make a building structurally sound. Or in another instance, an architect needs to know about plumbing, needs to know about the water flow or the wastage flow, and but he's not a plumber. He's not installing the plumbing mechanisms or the fixtures or anything, but he will design, orient, and guide the builders and everyone else to build a proper plumbing solution. It's kind of like that. But it is an interesting topic because when we try to think about it, most of the architects have to do and delve into so many things that it's very impossible to try to do anything in a specialized manner. We have to know so many things that we forget about the most basic human touch. Architects sometimes think of them as a god, or they develop a god complex one way or another, because we see buildings from the top down, from a miniaturized point of view. On the other hand, others mostly see it as just sheets of things. We have to envision a space and make that space a reality. So, transitioning that thought from the brain, from the imagination, from the neurons to the real world takes a lot of understanding about so many things. If I do just one thing wrong, I will be responsible, not totally, but partially responsible for the deaths if something fails structurally. So, yeah, in a way, architects have to act like God. But to me, architects are more like writers. They write about the places they have to occupy, The sides are kind of like the blank pages. The buildings and all the construction elements are kind of like letters, words, phrases, spaces that come and create an orchestra of volumes, shapes, lines, and those translate into an experience that anyone can enjoy with all of the senses. So, in a way, it is an interesting insight just from one of the 101 things we find in the book. So, it is a debatable place, but I think it can become something else because as architects, we have to be so many people at once that many do go into identity crisis, many do go into God complex, I think. They think they can control everything, just like the buildings. But honestly, we are merely humans. But to make something great, you do have to sacrifice a lot of things. And as architects, many people do sacrifice some things, but mostly their humility, their humbleness. Some do keep their humbleness. I'm not going against them, but some can't. They become assholes in a way. It's okay, I think, because designing, creating things, it is the language of God, and we are just people who try our best to imitate it. Anyways, I think I shouldn't talk too much about this topic right now, as I still haven't become an architect. And okay, let's see if I can talk as an architect next year. Anyways, I hope all of you have a great time in this godforsaken world, and over and out.